Yep, we're rolling. Let me just get me fragrances in order and me notes. So this is an interesting one. Back in the day, or over a year ago, I reviewed the Roberto Cavalli UOMO EDT. Now this is excellent. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10 for an EDT. The radiance, the smell profile, all very good. It would get an 8 if it lasted a little bit longer. So these are discontinued, sadly. I think they come out early 2000s, like 2006, 2007, maybe a bit later. But I had a whole range of these bottles. I'm leading on to where I'm going with this, but I just thought I'd add a little lore of this fragrance. So they had a whole range of different bottles, all discontinued, sadly. But this was very good. Now, they brought out the same name, which is interesting, Roberto Cavalli UOMO again, but a completely different bottle, similar sort of etchings and design, but the note breakdown is also different. So despite sharing the same name, despite this being an EDT, there is also a Parfum version, but I picked this EDT version up. You can buy this, there's lots of versions of this, however they're different. So they're both called the same name, same Roberto Cavalli, but they're completely different. So having reviewed the original and giving it a 7.5 out of 10, I was curious with this. I just assumed this was the original. When I put it onto the skin, it's different. It's similar but different, as well as the note breakdown that I found online being quite different as well. So originally the note breakdown for this was very different than what is on their website. So I had to look on various websites to find the final breakdown, the real breakdown. And as far as I'm aware, the real breakdown of this version is black pepper on the top, amber in the middle, and tonka beans. But various websites has different note breakdowns. Again, I'll reiterate, this I believed was just a re-release of this, but it's very different. How, even when I compared them, they're very different. And I knew as soon as I put this on, I know, like, I've smoked this albeit a while ago, this is very different, but there's similarities. So I'm going to put this onto the skin, just doing it on the right part of the arm because I've got different fragrances on different parts. Bear with me. So how this starts off, it's got like a gentlemanly, classic masculine vibe. Sweetness there, but also there's elements of like a feminine edge in there. A kind of, again, from the notes it sounds quite basic, but a kind of like a lipstick, how I describe it, a lipsticky cosmetic vibe, which is nice, it's pleasant. Again, there is a other fragrance I'll just pick up here, a Latafa Al Nashama Capri, which has a lipsticky irisy note in this, and this is a clone of Yves Saint Laurent Blue Electric, another discontinued fragrance. Just thought I'd put that out there because, again, how in terms, get my words out, in terms of a comparison, the sweet lipsticky note might not be to everyone's liking, but that is a note that's in here, but it's still overshadowed by the sweet masculine going out dark vibe. So again, as I go back to, this is a slightly nuanced version of that. I do prefer the original. The original also, in terms of performance and radiance, is slightly better than this new version. Or the issue is that the original, if you try to buy a bottle of this, it's probably like £60–70 if not more, and rising, where this I bought for 25 in TK Maxx. So I was under the impression that this was just a rebottle version of this. It isn't. It's similar, not quite as good performance, but you can buy it. It's cheap, and unlike the original, as I'll go back to, which is now discontinued. They have the same name, Roberto, Cavalli, UOMO. They're also EDTs, but you can get this as a Parfum version, which would be interesting, because I give this a 7 out of 10. I'll just cut to the chase. 7 out of 10. Personally, I prefer the original, which I gave a slightly higher mark at 7.5, but this is still decent. And again, there's not really much more I can say in terms of the performance and radiance. The original's better. This is like a 4 to 6 hour, which is about average for an EDT. First hour is very good in terms of radiance, but then it starts to fade to a skin scent, where the original, the push and the performance is slightly better, even though they're both EDTs. So if you can pick up the original, even though it's discontinued, but you're willing to pay a bit more money, I would recommend this. I also recommend this, believe it or not. I know a 7 out of 10 sounds just above average, but I consider that good. It's wearable. I think most guys would like it. Not really a summery vibe. Fragrance, definitely more going out, drinking with mates, dates, meal kind of environment. Sort of a classic male fragrance, but with some sweetness, sort of booziness about it. And again, it also has that kind of lipsticky, irisy note in there, which is different. I'm not going to say it's unisex, because it is very masculine, but it's welcome that there's something a little bit nuanced and a little bit different about it, hence why it gets a 7 and not like a 6 or a 5, which again, in my opinion, and most, it's just pure average. So if you can find this and try it, it's recommended. But personally, and having and owning a bottle of this, albeit it's hard to get hold of nowadays because it's discontinued, I keep reiterating that, I would personally prefer the original version of the same name, Roberto Cavalli UOMO, in a darker bottle. And again, just to finish and finalise, this is the newer version, albeit slightly different note breakdown as well, but sharing the same name, Roberto Cavalli UOMO. They also do Parfum version of this. This is the EDT. So maybe if I, one day I get to track down the Parfum version and revisit this review, being a Parfum, it would, maybe have a little bit more longevity than this. But for £25, I can't really argue. And it was nice to be able to sort of, in my mind at least, I believed at the time I tracked down the original, but a little bit disappointed because again, this is excellent and this is still very good. So 7 out of 10, Roberto Cavalli UOMO EDT, a sort of slightly nuanced re-release of the original. And breathe and finish your review.